In this video, I'll show you how I made a bench shelf from scraps that were lying on the shelf. It's a shame to throw them away, so I turned them into a shelf. I'll also show how I solve problems that come up during the manufacturing process. For example, I'll show you how to make a tool for sanding curved parts where it's impossible to get under the sander. And I'll even raffle off this shelf to one of you subscribers. I'll explain the details later. Let's dive in. I started with the main centerpiece. Among the scraps, I had this board lying around, and I decided to use it. I level it on the CNC machine, and then I ran it through a planer. In principle, it was possible and on the jointer, but to be honest, I do not really like such a wide parts to chase on the jointer. Don't beat me up for wasting so much wood on leveling. After I got rid of all the rotten spots on the board and trimmed it, I started making a mold to pour the epoxy into. I used hardboard to make the mold and covered it with Scotch tape. I added extra tape in case it didn't hold up. Fingers crossed it doesn't leak. Oh, miracle, the epoxy didn't leak this time. Next, I ran it through the planer and trimmed it to size. The next step is the side curve parts. I made these parts on a CNC machine. Then I glued them together. These curved parts can also be made by hand without a CNC. If anyone's interested, just let me know in the comments and I'll walk you through it. I use polyurethane glue for assembly. To sand the inside, I made a tool. It's a threaded rod. I attach the bearing to it and then wrap sandpaper around it. Just a heads up, the tape has to be blue, otherwise it won't work. This detail is also desirable to do if you do not want to wrap your hand on this tool. The next challenge is to cut at an angle. To do that, I had to come up with another device. I use domino dowels to connect the parts. I've been thinking about the raffle, and I've come up with some conditions. Here's what you need to do. First, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Second, like this video. Third, write in the comments if you like my channel or not. Maybe I need to change something. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you've got some constructive feedback, I'd be happy to hear it. I'll pick the winner when this video hits 1 million views. This is a big number for my small channel, but I hope for you. If you like this shelf and want to order one, just send me an email. I'm planning on selling it in my Etsy store at some point, but it won't have epoxy. It'll be made of beautiful wood with no knots or cracks. I cranked the clamps too tight, and the part broke after 5 minutes. I had to improvise because the glue had already started to harden. Even some Scotch tape came in handy. I was already happy that the part was saved, but it was not so. In my haste, I squeezed the parts badly and a gap appeared. It was too big to putty, so I decided to cut it off and glue it back on. Only this time I squeezed the parts a little differently. A little trick to keep the clamps from slipping. This is sandpaper glued on double-sided tape. The next thing was to cut the ends so that they were parallel with the top detail. For this, I invented another device. The cut was perfect. 2 more decor details. In these parts, I made grooves and glued through a strip of wood. An important point that the glue seam would hold firmly, the grain should be across the seam. If you do it lengthwise, this spacer can crack. All other defects I fill with hot glue. I covered this shelf with stain in 2 coats of varnish. I forgot to mention that I glued a plank with holes through which the shelf will be attached to the wall with screws. That's it, the shelf is all set. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.